And I think that benefited me a lot because I learned to want it myself. I learned to love the game before he forced me to work so hard that I hated it. You know what I mean? And you see that a lot these days with Pop Warner and stuff like that.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Those Guys Podcast, the only podcast where Chris Love wakes up every day thinking he's Denzel Washington from Training Day. Chris, is there anything you want to tell our viewers about NCAA these last few nights?
Okay, I've went through a rough patch. You've gotten a couple wins on me, but you're still trash, Troy. I still hold the ultimate record. I just gotta play some more, get back to the swing of things, and then that little belt to what's gonna be coming. So,
hey, when I said I need to get play a couple more games, get some games under my belt, you told me that was just an excuse, right?
I'll take my L's. I'm gonna take my L's, but at the end of the day,
let's be more specific. 5 straight L's.
Okay. I'm done playing with these mid-major teams, though. Once I start playing with Texas, you're done for it.
All right, fair enough. But Chris, as you guys can see, we have some special guests with us tonight. Chris, you mind giving these guys an intro?
Absolutely. So we have 2 remarkable young men with us today. Both of them are just incredible on the gridiron and off the gridiron. First, I'm going to start with Luke. So Luke graduated with a 4.2 GPA. He earned recognition such as the 2026 Mayor's Top Teens. He was a member of the National Honor Society. He served as a Centennial Academic Ambassador, got the NMAA Wood Gray Scholarship. He got the prestigious Mr. Hawk Award at Centennial. He was a 3-time All-State selection for football, 3-time first-team All-District selection, was a member of the Red-Green All-Star Game. He recorded 59 total tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, 2 receptions on offense, and he earned offers from Eastern New Mexico, Western New Mexico, New Mexico Highlands, Willamette University, New Mexico Military Institute, and South Dakota School of Mines, where South Dakota School of Mines will be where he will continue his football career while studying engineering. Oh, and not to mention, he was a state champion in discus, where he set records in shot put as well. And he was a state champion powerlifter, where he set state powerlifting records. Wow, this is impressive. And then we have Ifo. Ifo was first team all-district defensive end in Utah. He was a second team all-state defensive end. He was a second team all-district tight end. He also became a state placer in wrestling and state placer in track and field. He recorded 10 sacks, 24 tackles for loss, 30 quarterback hurries. He received Division I offers from BYU, Utah State, Utah, New Mexico State, UNLV, along with an offer from Northeastern State. Ifo has committed to Utah State, where he'll defer his commitment for a 2-year mission in Brazil. Wow, gentlemen, this is an incredible resume. I mean, Troy, I don't know about you, but when I was leaving high school, I think my resume maybe had 2 or 3 things, but these young men, I mean, this is a laundry list of just excellent accomplishments on the field, off the field, in the community, in the classroom. So I'm just blown away.
Yeah, no, Chris, you definitely said a mouthful. And obviously with your guys' backgrounds, Ifo, you're getting ready to do your mission in Brazil, and Luke, you're ready to go to South Dakota School of Mines, which is a prestigious school up in South Rapid City, South Dakota. So, man, congrats to you guys. You guys are phenomenal young men, and we are looking forward to kind of just diving into your guys' story. For the people who don't know a lot about you guys, can you tell them a little bit about yourselves? And can you just give them a little background on like where you guys grew up and what kind of kids you guys were? And Luke, we'll start with you.
Thank you. It's always good to just kind of get on these. It's always nice to like get with community and stuff. But when I was growing up, I moved all over the place. Originally, I was born in Columbus, Ohio, and I moved everywhere. From Albuquerque, I lived in Rock Springs, Wyoming for a little bit. And then finally we settled down in Cruces. So a lot of traveling. I've lived around the country, got to see a lot of people, got to meet a lot of people. But yeah, I've always been like enamored with like engineering and space, like aerospace type of subjects. So just being able to get to like an engineering school where I'm able to pursue my major and be able to play football, the game that I love. And I will also be throwing discus, shot put, and maybe a little bit of hammer up in South Dakota as well. But be able to continue my athletics with a really good college degree on the way, just honored to be in this position where I am right now.
Wonderful. And then, Ifo, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Right. Yeah. First and foremost, just like to thank those guys for this opportunity to come onto this podcast. These guys got a great thing going here, and we're just honored to be a part of this. So, for me personally, I was born and raised in Utah. I was there from the time I was born up until I was about 13 when I moved to New Mexico. I spent 4 years, 3 to 4 years in New Mexico, where my dad had a job as the city manager of Las Cruces, New Mexico. And then after that, I moved back to Utah in the middle of my sophomore year, and I've been here ever since in West Valley City, Utah. Definitely that Mexico, those few years was a short time, but definitely loved that time there, and those years will forever, be treasured in my heart, of course. But yeah, like you all said, I'll be serving a 2-year mission in Brazil for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, where I'll be able to learn and grow and develop. So definitely looking forward to that. I'll be deferring my enrollment and then returning to play football for Utah State. Super excited for all the opportunities that I've been given, and super excited to be on this podcast. But yeah.
Ifo, that's awesome, man. So I gotta ask, comparing Utah to New Mexico, I mean, was it kind of a relief moving back to Utah? Obviously, I know you built a lot of relationships in New Mexico, and you guys kind of stayed there for a couple years. Las Cruces is a good community, it really is. But I mean, Utah, the more that I learn about it, it's a pretty beautiful state.
Right. As far as the beauty, man, Las Cruces, I'm gonna admit, has us on that. I miss the old stucco Mexico style houses and stuff like that. It's truly a special place there, and definitely I think the sunsets and things like that in New Mexico got Utah on that part. But as far as football goes, it's kind of mixed, definitely mixed. Everybody knows that it's been a little bit of a struggle to get recognition out there as far as recruitment goes. So it was kind of, it wasn't too hard, but it definitely was a little bit harder than it is here. In Utah, you have schools, Oregon, SC, Stanford, popping into our weight room at a regular basis, where
Mm.
in New Mexico, unfortunately, it just wasn't like that. We definitely had Coach Ocampo at Centennial. He did a great job, phenomenal job, and truly better than many coaches out here of trying to push the boys and push their stuff out to coaches as much as possible. And so I definitely, owe a lot to him for that. But it is just, there's a lot more schools around here, and they definitely tend to pop in to our weight rooms, more often. And so as far as recruitment goes, it was a relief moving to Utah and being able to get my name out a little bit better. But definitely New Mexico, as far as football, I took for granted the hard work that those guys put out there on the field and in the weight room. Man, those guys in New Mexico, I feel like any school, man, those are some hard workers, and I took that for granted, being in that environment all the time. But yeah.
Definitely, Ifo. Thank you. So, gentlemen, kind of rewinding the clock back to your 8th grade year. We're there, 8th grade football. If you guys could remember, what were you guys' expectations, or what did you guys even think was going to happen that season?
Just going like thinking back, it was crazy because we always had like all the coaches were on us. It was always fun just being out there with all your friends and stuff. But it was definitely really crazy for me because I never played linebacker before, so it was a brand new experience getting back there and having to run the defense. But I really enjoyed it, especially like Fulbright being my coach. It was really fun. But just seeing all the work everybody put in. I knew we could be good, and we had a shot at taking it all. So it was really nice when that came to fruition at the end of the season.
Right. So for me, Definitely, it was pretty cool being able to play for my school. Previously in Utah, they don't really have that out there. It's mainly just Pop Warner, you know. Middle schools don't have football teams, and so I didn't really know what I was getting into at first. I just moved there 7th grade year to New Mexico, and so I didn't know about the competition or the skill level of a lot of the guys out there yet. So, and man, it was just exciting to be able to play for your school is something special for sure. So that was a huge opportunity, being able to play for Camino. And I knew we had some special talent, between me and Luke, some of the other guys there that I knew there's some good really good athletes at that school at the time, and so I knew we were gonna do good, but I wasn't sure about the competition, and so it was a really special program to be a part of for sure.
Definitely. And Luke, I was familiar with you because, again, for the City League, I was one of your coaches along with your father. And then I taught you in 6th grade. So I kind of already knew what I was getting with you. And then EFO, you came in 7th grade. And I remember all of the coaches were like, man, this kid is tall. So we're definitely going to use him all over the field. And I remember the first practice, EFO, you were ready to go. I remember a lot of the players, they were hesitant to go up against you because you'd already had a pass rush moves. You were just bull rushing guys. And the first thing I thought was, wow, this kid's coming with extreme intensity. And, that carried us, right? Between you and Luke and a lot of our other guys that year, we were able to get on a good run. And then eventually we won the city championship. And it was a fun year. It was a really fun year. So I appreciate you guys. That was my first championship as an assistant coach. And, we had a lot of fun. So fast forwarding to Centennial, how was it for the both of you guys entering your freshman years going into that program?
I'll go ahead and start, on this one. For me personally, Centennial High School is a very special program, man. Coach Ocampo and the rest of his staff down there, they're definitely one of a kind, man. Like it was just a shock to me to see a group of guys that dedicated and that just focused on the same cause, right? Just the culture of Centennial High School and Centennial football is just something different. You know, those guys are driven. They're willing to do anything for the team, and so that was the biggest shock for me is to just be a part of something where there's these young men who are just completely bought in. You know, bought into the cause, bought into what we got going on, and the goals of the program.
Uh, just piggyback off of what Efo said, it was like I said, it was a really big shock coming into that program, especially with what like Coach Ocampo and all of his staff are doing at that school to get the older guys ready. Being coming in as a freshman and seeing what I had to go up against every day, it was crazy. Like especially, I think me and Efo, our freshman year, like the second day of practice when they pulled us up to JV, and then we had to practice with JV and varsity, and it it was difficult to say the least with that that class of 23. That was probably one of their best classes I've seen in a long
Mm.
time. So having to go up against the best O line in the state, the one of the best D lines in the state, it was difficult, very difficult. But I think that's what prepared both of us to go on and have big careers going on later in high school.
Yeah, it's crazy. I
Yeah,
remember that. I remember that moment when coach pulled us both up from the freshman practices, and so we were running both two-a-day practices, going to the freshman practice in the morning, and then staying to the JV varsity practice in the afternoon. And it was pretty taxing. But all I remember is I don't know if you guys, John Paul Sierra laid me out about 3 times on
Oh
kickoff
yeah.
return. And so it woke me up. You know, everybody has those welcome to high school football moments, and so that was mine. But it definitely, like Luke said, it prepared us for where we are at now.
yeah, Coach Ocampo, he's done an incredible job at Centennial. We had him on our show and kind of getting to kind of learn about him and his style of coaching and seeing kind of the adversity that he faced taking that job to begin with. And man, he has turned them into a contender year in and year out. So, he's doing some really good things down there. We enjoyed having him on our show and kind of getting to learn about the program because Centennial had opened up right after me and Chris graduated. So we had zero experience with it, right? But I remember Ocampo and I were talking about like how basically people weren't taking Centennial serious that, 2013, 2014, 15 year because, they were kind of playing at a low classification and everything like that. And, things were just coming together. But man, he has completely he's built a pretty solid program down there. And, me and Chris talk about this all the time. Ever since Centennial opened up, it is hard for these Las Cruces schools to kind of stand out and take state, man. There's, because it used to be between Cruces and Mayfield, and then that all shifted to Cruces and Centennial. So it's tough now, but it's cool to watch that program evolve. Obviously, you guys played multiple sports in high school. Can you guys kind of just elaborate on that and just talk about like how it maybe have helped you guys in the football field?
I will start with this one. It's always good to be playing other sports because it always keeps you in competing all the time because football is just constant competition, and being able to play other sports where there's people at your level or above you in competition wise, it just drives you to improve yourself through your training, through your work ethic, everything. And then the training that you do for other sports definitely correlates over strength wise, explosiveness, just intelligence for play calls and positions. It definitely carries over. And I think that every athlete should be doing at least track. Like track and field is a must. Wrestling is a great sport to do. Just carries over immensely into football.
Right. Yeah. For me personally, my mom, she was a track and field athlete. She threw at BYU. So
Oh.
for me, I never really liked track, but that was my mom's thing, so I did it anyways. But she
You didn't
coached
have a
me up.
choice.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I kind of knew what I was doing and knew what I was getting into. I had a bit of a head up. I was a bit ahead of most just because for throwing, it's not as big of a sport as far as people starting young, and I had already had some exposure to it. So track and field was just kind of a given for me. But wrestling was something that I kind of just picked up on the spot, just trying something new. Definitely both the explosive aspect that comes with track and field was definitely something that was able to help me to translate into the game as a defensive lineman, just coming off that initial snap, that initial beginning of the play, with that pop, that explosion, translates into any sport. And then playing as a lighter weight defensive tackle, I think I've always had a harder time, and I had to force myself to learn how to use my weight properly. So wrestling is something that helped me to use that, learn how to play in tight spaces and use leverage to my advantage. So that's how those two sports have kind of translated for me, at least.
Yeah, wrestling is tough, man. Learning
Mhm.
how to use your body weight and throwing people around, there is no type of exhaustion. You haven't experienced exhaustion until you've actually wrestled an entire match.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
hmm
there's just a different level of being tired, right? So, but Ifo, obviously, I didn't know your mom did track at BYU. Come from a family of athletes. Your dad played in the NFL a little bit. Now, how was that like with his NFL background, him making it at the highest level? How was that? How did that influence you in your football career? Was he pushing for you to play football? Was he ever like, man, maybe just stay away from football?
Right. So for me, my dad played for the Eagles, the Patriots, and the Texans back in the early 2000s, and so definitely for me growing up, it's not a lot. I always tell people it's not like what they think. It's honestly it was a lot different than that from as far as my dad pushing me to train and stuff like that. My dad was always there, always encouraging me in whatever I did. But for him, he allowed me to make the decision for myself all throughout my high school. And I think that benefited me a lot because I learned to want it myself. I learned to love the game before he forced me to work so hard that I hated it. You know what I mean? And you see that a lot these days with Pop Warner and stuff like that. These dads overworking their kids and stuff like that. And do what you feel is right with your child. I'm not trying to say something like that, but you know, I definitely learned to love the game. And so now when it comes to these higher level of playing, I can push myself as hard as I can push myself to the edge. I can push myself as far as I can, and I'll still love it. Because I learned to love the game before I learned to hate it. And so as far as my dad playing in the NFL, he kind of knew that, it's important to develop a love for the game, and he allowed me to do that. And I always loved football from a young age, and so that was never a question for me. But yeah, that's how that affected me.
Well, Luke, with you excelling in athletics as well, who pushed you to take to play football and, to push yourself on the field?
I definitely my parents, they always supported me no matter what I wanted to do. At first, they always like when I was really young, they made me try everything, like from swimming to baseball to soccer. Like they wanted me to try every sport. And then as I got older, they let me filter through the ones I actually enjoy doing. And I landed on football just because it's a physical sport. It's a sport where you, or like in your average day, you can't be as physical as you are in football. And then I guess at a young age, I was always a lot bigger. So I had a natural edge. And then as I got older and got more into the training aspect and everybody caught up, and I'm like, all right, that's where I think it gets most fun is when there's competition, constant competition. And I just love competing. And that especially came through in track where I never had done it until like eighth grade, and Etho's whole family, they really like showed me the way to do track, and I just had a love for it ever since.
Wonderful. And going back to the multi-sport athlete, for the both of you, how did you guys maintain, sports, academics, your community obligations, along with just overall staying grounded with family and everything else? I mean, it seems like you see kids your age, I shouldn't say kids, you guys are young men, but you see young men your age just having a difficult time even doing two things. And throughout high school, you guys were involved in five, six, seven, eight things. How did you guys stay structured through all that?
I'll go ahead and go first. For me personally, it's definitely just prioritizing my time.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, these sports weren't all going on at the same time, so just prioritizing and scheduling a certain time for practices and training and stuff like that. I was so lucky to have a family that supported me in everything that I did, and so I never felt like I was missing out on that family time that was so valuable to me because my family, I come from a family of athletes and they all understood, they understood the grind and what it takes, you know. And so they were always supportive of me as far as that. But yeah, from sport to sport as along with academics is just, setting apart time for everything, scheduling your time and staying on top of everything, trying to just do your best. If you're showing effort in everything you do, then you tend to be pretty good at most things, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with Efo on that. Like having your family be supportive of what you're doing. They always come out to everything you do. You're not really feeling like you're alone in the and what you're doing, and your family's there to support you. It doesn't feel like you're like you said, like missing out on anything because they're always with you through everything. And then just staying, like I said, just staying busy, like managing your time. The for this time is for school. This time I'm out at sports, and I have 3 hours to end the day. How do I use it? Like that's being able to manage your time well. And then I just feel always staying busy just keeps you on the same internal clock. You never have to question what you're doing because you're always on schedule for either football or you shifted it to track or powerlifting. You're always on schedule for something.
Definitely.
So, guys, was there ever, I mean, what was the point like in high school where that you guys were like, all right, yeah, I definitely want to go to college, to play football? Obviously, I've watched both of you guys play. I watched both of your guys' highlight videos. And yeah, the way you guys play physical. You're tough. You guys have a great motor. Efo, I know that you have long extremities. I hated blocking guys like you because I really relied on, getting the first pop first. But man, when you're playing against someone with like long arms and they get their hands on you first, it's not fun because you have to fight through that. And you just play very long. I don't know how to like break that down anymore, but man, yeah, you had long strides and the long extremities getting, full extension on these offensive linemen. They weren't able to block you that well. You were in the backfield causing havoc. Luke, I saw you. They obviously moved you around all around the D line, right? And you were causing havoc. You were kind of putting centers on skates. You were very physical, very strong, played with a great motor, great football IQ. So, like, when did you guys have that, like, aha moment that, man, I could go far with this sport?
I'll go ahead and start. I'd say it was right around like the beginning of my junior year because I'd see all these guys on like Twitter and stuff and Instagram. I'd always be like, just got my first offer. Do you want to offer freshman year? And I'm like, I didn't get that. And I'm like, well, I was like, when is it going to happen? And I'm like, I wasn't entirely sure. So I was making these backup plans and I was like, okay, if this doesn't come through, I have these secondary schools where I'd love to go. They have a great education. And then once that first offer came in, like beginning of my junior year to Easter, and then they all just started coming and coming. And after camps, I get offers and just kept on going. And I eventually realized that, yeah, I want to play college football and I want to get a good education and play sports at the same time.
Yeah, for me, it was kind of I kind of knew from a young age. You know, I come from a family that's pretty big in football. A lot of my first cousins are D1 athletes playing at the college level right now, and my you know my dad and I have three older sisters that are all collegiate athletes too. So
Oh, well,
it was kind of yeah, it was kind of just a given for me from a young age that I knew that was a goal for me. I knew that it was a good lifestyle to be able to have your schooling paid for and stuff like that. And I knew that I had what it takes, and I was willing to give what it takes. Unfortunately, because I was able to see those examples. And, you know, just going throughout high school, I received my first deal and offer to BYU the summer between my freshman and sophomore year. So at a young age, BYU definitely, you know, I was young. I had a lot to prove, but I definitely was able to say that I showed a lot of promise there, and I prepared a lot for that camp that I was able to travel out here from New Mexico to come and attend and just see how things see how things were going to play out. But yeah, playing college football for me was a young age that I decided, you know, that was for me. That was the path that I wanted to take for my life. Unfortunately, everything worked out the way it was supposed to.
well, you guys definitely had the measurables. If you guys, Efo, if you had stayed at Centennial and you guys played on the same side, I mean, between you and Luke, man, that would have been
Yeah.
tough to prepare for. So yeah, so the way you guys moved around the field and stuff, you guys did a fantastic job. You guys, it's no wonder where you guys are at, where you're at today. So Luke, what you mentioned that you went to a couple camps, you know, towards the end of your high school era there. What camps did you attend, and how would you say that they were, and did you learn anything from them?
Yeah, I went to a lot of camps, like, ever since, like, I got into high school, 8th grade through a junior year, I went to camps every summer. I think at most for one summer, I went to, like, 10 camps, and it was just constant trying to get in front of coaches, trying to show them what I can do. But, yes, it's always good seeing like, getting in front of coaches and seeing like, letting them see you perform, and then they'll coach you themselves about what they think that you can do, where they can put you on their roster. And this was definitely shown, I think it was my junior year when I went to Highlands camp. That's where I was I was the only D lineman there. So I got one-on-one with the defensive line coach, and it was more just like a personal training session. It wasn't like generalized drills just to see what people could do. He knew what I could do, and then he like specified on specific things that he wanted to either show improvement on me and like getting into, or like what he can like measure me on. So that was really fun to see. But yeah, always went to camps, and then I always traveled really far every year, like from Texas to Arizona, Colorado, a lot of camps.
Dang. Efo, did you go to like, obviously you probably attended like a BYU camp. Is that where you got like all your offers from?
Right. So yeah, I attended the BYU camp. That's where I received my offer from BYU. It was between my freshman and sophomore year. I traveled down here to Utah and attended that camp. You know, showed them what I got, and they extended that offer at the end of the camp. I've attended many other camps too. I uh, I attended Utah, UNLV's, USC's. The Under Armour All American camp was one that gave me a lot of exposure to. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
that's incredible, man. Yeah, I can't harp enough to these younger kids. Like, hey, man, you got to get in front of these coaches now. Their inboxes are getting flooded. Like, and I don't care at what level, Division 3, Division 2, Division 1, FCS. Like, I went to Northern Arizona football camp, and I mean, those coaches were telling us how many, you know, highlight videos that they were trying to review, and it was just like, wow, like you got to really stand out and do this type of do good work in front of them. So from there, obviously you guys start getting recruited and stuff. How many trips did you guys go on, and like how did that whole process look for you guys? And we'll start with Luke on this one.
I took a lot of trips, especially early in the recruiting. Most of the schools I was getting recruited by were like in state, but I was getting a couple that were out of state. So I traveled to camps in Denver to go to Colorado School of Mines, and then when I finally got my South Dakota Mines offer, that was the furthest I traveled was about 15 hours, a 15-hour drive, but it was about like I think it was like 6 hours of flying from here to Denver and then Denver to Rapid City. But that trip was amazing. I loved everything I saw, and I'm really excited to get up to be able to go there and be able to study what I want to study. And then on a football team that's just, I love everything about it. The coaches, the athletes. I'm just really excited to get up there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
for me, there's so many camps that I attended throughout the years. Many school camps. I think the only like specific school camp that I attended was the Under Armour All American camp. But besides that, I attended BYU's, Utah's camp. I had a few official visits, places like Boise and USC, some other big names that I was able to attend, and so definitely something that I looked forward to. Being told about that by my cousins and parents and stuff like that.
How were those official visits at like Boise and USC? I bet you they hooked it up.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. So SC has a beautiful campus. It was so nice to be able to be there in California and see everything. And they definitely set us up. And Boise has a great program too, great facilities. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Luke, talking about Rapid City, South Dakota, man, there's a lot of good people there. There's a lot of good football. You get to play football in the RMAC. That is one of the best Division II conferences, in my opinion, just because you get to travel a little bit everywhere, right? So, man, I don't know if you're aware of this, but like at their stadium, obviously, like the stadium's not huge, but they have cars, I guess, park all around the stadium. You could actually watch the game from your car.
Mhm.
And I guess like every time, School of Mines scores a touchdown, everyone just goes nuts. And I heard it's a pretty fun environment to be a part of.
Yeah, that was one of their biggest selling points. They have one of the best stadiums in D2 football. I'm really excited to go up there and experience a game day, a home game day. It is just amazing, like their facilities, their campus, everything. Unfortunately, it was out of season for anything. I went in January for my official
Oh,
visit,
yeah.
so it was just cold and there wasn't anything going on. But uh, I'm excited to get out there, start working with them, and then when I get there, I think about 3 weeks out from their first game. So I'm really excited, especially to see a home game and be able to play on that field.
Definitely. So, gentlemen, you go through the recruiting process, you go to these camps. What went into making your decision on the school that you wanted to sign with?
I'll go ahead and start. I took, for me personally, it was a bunch of things, bunch of different factors that went into that decision. For me, Utah State is just a special place, man. Up there in Logan, it's that mountain scenery is real special, and the coaching staff, Bronco Mendenhall and his coaching staff had just moved there, just starting, and they're doing something great there. If you ever get a chance to meet Bronco Mendenhall, he's a pretty great guy, man, and you can just see the wheels turning in his head all the time. Just one of those types of coaches, and their whole his whole assistant coaching staff, they all travel with him wherever they go, and so they're all just a tight group. And honestly, it reminded me a lot of Centennial football. It reminded me of how they run things down there. Just hardworking group of guys who are all focused and determined on a goal. And so for me, that's what stood out to me. Honestly, that's what was going through my head as they gave their presentation to me and the couple of unofficials and the official visit that I attended there at Utah State. Is that, man, this is a lot like how I enjoyed Centennial football and their program. And so that was a kind of a huge factor, along with Coach Dante Wilkins over there, D-line coach. Man, he's a great guy, and they definitely did a great job at selling that place to me.
Uh, for me, I was very big on education. I wanted to have, I wanted to get a major in engineering at least. I've been blessed to be able to have my major in mechanical engineering and then get a minor in aerospace, and then have the flexibility of mining and tech school, because not a lot of college football programs allow you to have that much freedom with your major. They expect you to be here at this time, and if you're not there, then you're either gonna have to quit football or get a different major. And I personally never did not want to go through that. I wanted to get my major and I wanted to have fun in football while doing it. And then South Dakota Mines really gives you the opportunity. They schedule around the athletes. A lot of their athletes are mechanical, or not mechanical, but engineers specifically, and a lot of them take the same classes, so they know when and when not to schedule. And just having that freedom is really what sold me, especially in the coaching staff as well. Being able to talk to Coach Montgomery and Coach Floor, Coach Winters, a lot of them very nice guys. And I'm upset. I'm a little upset I won't be able to be with Coach Montgomery for the next as he's moving back to Hawaii. But being able to do Coach Murphy, I talked with him a little bit. Sounds a really nice guy. I'm gonna have a lot of fun talking with him, getting to know him, and then being able to play football for him.
Wonderful. Hey, Luke. So I know you're playing football. You're doing a little bit of track there too, right?
Yes, I signed for just like a roster position for South Dakota Mines.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful.
Hey, Ifo, I got a question for you, man. So, how does that all work out? Like, obviously, you got your scholarship from Utah State, and obviously, like BYU, I'm sure they deal with this all the time, but you get your offer from Utah State and you commit, you sign, but then you're just like, you let them know before time, like, hey, I got to do my mission, and it's going to take, and they're like, all right, cool, we'll hold it for you type deal. Like, how does that work?
Right. So that's basically it right there. There's a lot of colleges that don't accept this, and so that was definitely a struggle in my recruitment process. They don't accept missionaries, so I told them first. They were completely aware all throughout the process that I would be serving a mission 2 years and then returning back to play. And so I signed my letter of intent, I committed, and all that, and I actually enrolled and got got accepted, and then I had to get an accepted deferral from the school, from their admissions committee, and then from there, Bronco, he was actually encouraging of me to pursue this mission. He knows that it's something that develops young men very well, and so it was kind of mixed as far as from school to school, just the feedback that I got about that. But yeah, it's really cool that I had that opportunity to still be able to serve this mission for my church and still be able to return and play football. Bronco, even in our last meeting before I left on my official visit, he asked if I wanted to have him put it in contract, a written contract, that my scholarship would be there when I get back. And so that's just the type of
Oh,
person
wow.
that he is. He was just willing to allow me to do this and return and play for him. So I'm just very lucky to be able to have that opportunity, and I'm proud that I can still be able to do these things for sure.
No, that's awesome, man, and that's such a great purpose. I was just curious on how all that worked because obviously, like this day and age, we all know with college football, things are year by year. Whether it's the transfer portal, whether coaches are getting fired, coaches are getting hired. I mean, like um, things are just changing so fast. So that's why I was just kind of wondering. I'm like, man, like you come back and what if it's like a new coaching staff and everything? Like, how does that all work and how does that all prepare? But obviously, I think Bronco Mendenhall, I think he's in it for the long haul at Utah State now that they just moved to the Pac-12 and everything. So hopefully, he stays there for quite some time. But yeah, that's interesting to know because I never knew the answer to that.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that kind of get different feedback from different coaches. Changing and coaching staffs is a big thing. The guys are kind of getting screwed over in that type of situation. But I've been fortunate to be in the situation that I'm in, and then yeah. So just that. I think there's a recent rule change with the NCAA where everybody gets to serve those 4 years, and so but there's a specific list of things where they're allowed to allow deferrals for, and religious missions, and I think military service were the two things that you're allowed to defer your enrollment for.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Now, how are you going to prepare? Are you planning on just attending a gym in Brazil? Like, I don't know where you're going to be at in Brazil. But like, how are you going to train and prepare for all that stuff?
Right. It's definitely going to be a struggle. As a missionary, you have set time and an hour every day where every missionary is supposed to be able to. They're supposed to actually in the rule book spend time working out. Physical exercise, and so it's hard to stay physically in shape throughout for 2 years of busyness and spending that time for your church. Definitely, it takes a toll on some. Some definitely come back 30, 40 pounds heavier from their missions. depending on where you serve. And so, who knows where I'll be at when I come back. I'm just gonna do the best I can, take a jump rope with me and see where things go. Just serve this time. We talked about prioritizing your time, so I'm just gonna show effort the most I can in every area that I can, and whatever happens, happens.
Definitely.
No, that's awesome. Luke, I have a question for you, man. So, do you think you're gonna have any type of culture shock moving to South Dakota, or are you gonna fit right in? I know I didn't know this before we started recording, but you said you lived in Wyoming, you kind of moved around everywhere. Now, do you think it's gonna be an easy adjustment moving to South Dakota and, just getting acclimated out there?
Uh, it's going to be very different, I would say. It's coming from like southern New Mexico all the way up to South Dakota. Just like culture wise, like the type of people you see, like what's around you. That's definitely be a shock, but I feel like I'll fit in pretty well with the type of guys that are there. Especially like I've already picked out my roommate, and we've already got so much in common. We're both middle childs. We both love the cold. We both like to go out fishing. We're both defensive linemen. We're both studying mechanical engineering. So just having a lot of guys who are thinking the same way, who go out and do the same things. It's easier to get accustomed when you have people like that around you. But I definitely will miss the food. I guarantee South Dakota will not have the same food. But
Yeah, I'm missing that
yeah,
up too.
it's gonna take a little bit to get used to like the new surroundings and the new people, but I think I'll fit right in.
Hey, so
Yeah,
Troy,
no,
that's a
what's
challenge
up?
for us, man. When we make our trips to South Dakota, or if we make our trip to Logan, Utah, we're gonna have to bring some green chili with us. Give it to these guys.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know,
yeah,
man.
for sure.
That'll be our form of payment and stuff. So, no, I mean, I've been moving. I moved to Oklahoma about 9 years ago, and things. Yeah, I was huge culture shock for me, but I finally got adjusted to it and stuff. So, no, it's cool that you guys are going to be able to travel around a little bit, especially that you guys could do it when you're young. You don't have families, so I mean, just enjoy the ride and enjoy the experience. Luke, is there any place in particular in the RMAC that you're looking forward to playing
Highlands.
at?
I've say
Highlands?
right away it's gonna be playing Highlands because my family's gonna be there. They're gonna anytime we play a away game at Highlands, they're gonna come out and watch. And then there's so many people that I know that are on the Highlands roster. For example, Jordan Lucas. I'll be able to play against him. Danny Amaro, he's going to be playing at Highlands. I'll be playing D-line at South Dakota, so I'll get to see him again. But it's just Highlands is going to be a nice game, seeing my family, be able to play against people I knew. So Highlands, I'm very, very, I look forward to that game.
Heck yeah. I think Chris is going to go to that game too, right?
If I'm available, I definitely want to head up to Las Vegas, New Mexico, and check everything out. So
Well, Ifo, when you get to Utah State, is there a particular game or matchup that you're looking at? Obviously, like these D1 schools, they release their schedules so far in advance. I mean, you could usually kind of gauge where they're going to be at.
Yeah, for me, I don't know if there's really a game. There's a game specifically that I'm looking forward to. Really, just being in that college environment, man, that D1 college environment, being in that stadium with that student section, really all these D1 schools, it's just a different world, just a different world of football. My dad would always talk to me about, I would always ask him about the difference between playing in a college stadium and an NFL stadium. And he told me that, it's a big difference, but the bigger difference is from high school to college, D1 college football. That's truly a special experience to run out into a stadium that big, playing in front of that many people. So, yeah, I don't know if there's a specific team that I'm looking forward to playing for. Just looking forward to playing for my D line coach in Bronco Mendenhall and playing underneath those lights, in that huge stadium.
definitely.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy watching college football just better. I think the environment is just better, right? I think, you get some characters in the stands, obviously like the student body and stuff like that. That's something that I've always enjoyed versus, the pros. I mean, you're spending a lot of money to watch a game. All it is usually just rowdy people there, just, I don't know. So I always like the college environment a little bit better.
Yeah, even though I'm going to be at a college football program, I still love my Buckeyes. Go Buckeyes. So I could still be a fan, right? If I'm D2 and they're D1, I could still be a fan of the Buckeyes.
No,
That's what I'm
absolutely.
thinking at least.
Absolutely.
That's
Chris, what do you like more? I think you're an NFL guy more than a college, right? Or
you
am I
know,
wrong about that?
no, so I'm actually more of a college guy than an NFL guy, but my first love is the Packers, which, hey, shout out to Jordan Love, right? Utah State guy. But
Yep.
no,
Yep.
yeah, no. I love college football. I love the pageantry. I love the traditions. I love the impact that it has on different communities around the country. I love just, these young guys going in and playing hard. And NFL's great. Don't get me wrong, the best of the best. And it's entertaining, but, it's a business, right? And college football, it is turning into more of a business, but I still think there's some of that innocence in the game that I love. So I definitely like college football a little bit more.
So when Chris isn't acting like Denzel, he's all about the cheesehead. So
And the horns too. Hook
yeah,
'em, right?
yeah.
So who is stronger between the both of you?
That's definitely Luke. Luke has me on that one.
I
Luke
think
has me
I
on that
am.
one.
I think
I
I'm a little
think
stronger, yeah.
I competed there for a while within sophomore and freshman year, and then he kind of took off after that, being in powerlifting. I think my power clean might be up there though.
Where are you power cleaning right now?
That's
I'm getting close to 315 right now.
Yeah, I think you got me. My last max was about 290, and I failed 305 on a PR attempt.
Man, that'd blow up my knees.
Yeah, this guy looks crazy powerful, man. He's definitely got me on that strength.
definitely. All right. So who's a better chef?
Oh, that's me.
Chef? Yeah,
That's me
definitely
for
Evo.
sure.
Like, no question about it. I went to one of his cookouts. They gave us takeout boxes to take home any leftovers from the cookout.
So,
I remember Luke back in the Camino days. Luke would come in with his meal prep every day, and I'd take what I could from his box, but I don't think he was the one making those. So
man, that's
Yeah, it was
funny.
always my mom back in middle
Yeah.
school. Is back then.
So Ifo, enlighten us, man. What are you cooking when you get a chance? What's your favorite dish to whip up?
I've been on the grill a lot lately. We just moved into this new house, new backyard, new patio set, and so I've been perfecting my steak recipe, New York strip, man, medium rare, perfect to the T. So yeah, that's just all things on the grill. That's been my specialty lately.
That's what's up.
Wait till you eat some of that Brazilian cuisine, man.
Oh yeah,
I had a
I'm looking
couple
forward to that.
neighbors. Yeah, some of my neighbors, whenever I lived in an apartment that lived right next door to me, they would always leave all these desserts, these meats, and
Yeah.
dude, that's kind of where I started packing on my weight again. I'm like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's like, man, it's some good stuff.
Yeah, hopefully I can learn something out there too.
Definitely. All right, a couple more questions, guys. Next one. So Coach Ocampo told us about Techno, what is it, Techno Thursdays?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Something like
techno.
that, yeah.
I know this question.
Yeah, so you guys already know where I'm going with this. Who's the better dancer? Who knows how to
Ifo.
bust a move?
Yeah, it's Ifo. I have no shame in that. Like I can't dance. I cannot.
Yeah, I think Luke's got me on the strength, but he might have a little bit of stiff hips
A little bit.
when it comes to the dance moves.
You can get down a little bit, Ifo?
I get out there, I get down a little bit,
It was definitely
That's
we were missing a lot of dancing when Ifo left, especially from the class of 26. We didn't. Every time they go up, I'm like, man, where's Ifo at? We need Ifo back. We need Ifo back.
Definitely.
Ifo, how was that? So how was that conversation with you and Coach Ocampo about like, hey, I'm moving back to Utah. Sorry. Like, how did that go?
It was pretty hard, man. Coach Ocampo. So both of my older sisters are also on the track team at BYU, and Coach Ocampo coached both of them too in track and field, and so really our families definitely got close, and so it was kind of a hard thing to say. I think Coach Ocampo, that's a guy that definitely can keep his composure, no matter what. And so he was doing a good job of it, but I know he was mad. He wanted to say something, but
Just
that guy.
punch in the air.
Yeah, him and Coach
I could
Keys,
feel the anger in the air for sure, but he definitely keeps his composure, and so yeah.
It's like that last scene on Dumb and Dumber where Jim Carrey's shaking that dude's hand. When they finally find him, he's just like, "I'm so happy for you."
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, man, that's rough. I know, especially in New Mexico, man. Like talent, D1 talent, any collegiate level talent, it's tough to come by. So yeah, I bet you that was definitely a stinger for him.
Definitely. And then my final question for you all is, who is more likely to go skydiving?
Skydiving.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I'd be down to try it. I'd try it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if
I'll
put
try it at
myself
least
up there.
once. I tried it at least once. Like I'm not like I want to do it every day type of thing, but I would definitely want to try it at least once. That or like bungee jumping. I think it could be fun.
Yeah, I don't
What?
know. Not me.
So-
Not me. I'm not about the heights.
Luke, let me find out. You're somewhat of a risk taker, man. I didn't think that was you.
Yeah, I think so.
No, you're so professional, straight laced. I just didn't know that you had that edge to you like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. We always got like these 4-wheelers out, and it was always nice. Like before they finished development and stuff near our house, we always take them out, like go mudding and quadding out in the desert. It was always real fun. And then I'm an outdoorsman. I love hiking. I love fishing. So I always like just trying things,
Definitely.
Well, my hobby back in the day was playing Ding Dong Ditch at Chris Love's house.
Sure did, man. You love doing that. Have my dad.
Of course, I say that
coming out
back in the
the
day. I
house
was doing that in college.
Deep down ditch, opening up my fridge, eating all the food out of my fridge, just doing everything, Troy.
Just walking in when I wasn't even invited. So it's like, yeah, but well, awesome guys. Hey, I appreciate you guys joining us here tonight. Man, I think both of you guys are on an incredible journey, and you guys are going to have great collegiate careers. If you guys have any advice to anyone that's younger than you, maybe going through something similar, what is some advice that you could give them?
I'd say always just keep like pumping stuff out. Like it doesn't matter. Like say they don't email you, that coach don't email you back, or you don't think anybody's looking at your film. Just keep going. Like I got in that spot where it was after I had my first couple offers, and one of the schools I was looking at, they never. They kept me like on the line, and they never like followed through on what they were gonna say, and I got down a little bit. And I'm like, man, what if I don't play college football? And then I sent another wave of offers out, or like another wave of like emails and sending my film out. And eventually South Dakota Mines saw it. They picked it up and they gave me an offer like that same day. And it's just very, like, it was an honor just to be able to be in that situation, especially like after everything I went through. So just don't stop trying. Like keep pushing out what you want, keep pushing for what you want to do, and eventually it'll come.
Right. For me, I just like to say that effort will get you wherever you want to go. There's so many different things. Focus on things that you control. I think effort, something that I learned from the Centennial football program. It's something that there's so many things within this whole pathway that you can't control, but one thing that you can control is your own effort and what you're able to put into the process. And so for me, effort got me where I am, and effort's going to continue to take me throughout my life. I think just as far as uh, not making it, there's going to be times where you have setbacks, times where you fail to get where you want to go. But just as long as you know that you gave it everything you have, you put out that effort, then you're a winner either way. And so just doing the best in everything you do, and you'll be set. You know.
Awesome. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Man, I am looking forward to following up with you guys these next couple of years, following up with you guys in your collegiate journey. I think it's going to be fun and exciting, and I think Chris can say the same. So,
Yes.
but you guys are always welcome on the show. And man, I don't know, I know it might be challenging for you, but Luke, we might even have you make some picks this season. So we'll see. So.
Yeah,
But
I just want to say thank you guys for this opportunity. We definitely honored to be here. You guys got a great thing going here, and
Thank
then
you.
I'll be out doing my thing in Brazil, and I'm sure you guys are going to continue to be doing great things. But thank you for the invite and for this honor to be on this show with y'all.
Yeah, thank you
Perfect.
guys. Can't wait to be tuning in, see what you guys are up to, and then hopefully come back in the show in a couple of years or see how it's going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely be following up with South Dakota School of Mines, especially since, you're on our podcast. We want to make sure to keep up with everyone on that or keep up, with all that. So, but no, thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate it. And hopefully we can just, keep this thing going.
Thank you.
Definitely.